Emotion drives everything. A TV ad is not meant to sell facts. They are meant to sell an emotional state. Heart beats brain every time. Heart beats brain every time. My party has completely fallen apart morally. I have reached the point now where I truly believe that Donald Trump could stand on the White House lawn and eat a live baby, and the Republican members of the House in particular would shrug their shoulders and say, MAGA, no big deal. I'm Rick Wilson, and this is my home in Tallahassee, Florida, where I run my political consulting firm, Intrepid Media. I'm a Republican and conservative political strategist, media consultant, ad maker, troublemaker, social media force of nature, guy who's generally either loved or hated in alternate years. Everybody in my business is either visible or invisible. The invisible guys, they move around in the shadows. Nobody knows really who they are. The strength of that is nobody's shooting at you. The weakness of that is you can't influence the debate. I want to be in the dialogue. I want to be in the debate. I want to be in the discussion. Now we've got a call into this radio show. Hey, it's Rick Wilson calling in. So I fight on those battlefields to try to reshape the dialogue, to try to nudge things in a political direction that I think is the right direction. Limited government, free markets, individual liberty, and these old-fashioned notions of, following the law and the Constitution, obeying the rule of law. Call me crazy. Hang on. Because Trump is stuck on the Russia problem, because he's stuck in this ditch of Russia and he can't get out of it. The 1988 campaign was my first big campaign assignment. I got recruited by the Bush campaign through a series of dumbass political luck. Of course, Lee Atwater ran the campaign. Lee was this incredibly inspirational figure because he was super aggressive. He loved politics. He loved the purity of the fight. And the fight is amazing, and it's addictive, and it's so fun. I make television ads as part of what I do. I write speeches, and I write big picture stuff for candidates. I've helped elect Republicans in very, very, very blue states and very liberal places. Will I work for somebody who is a scumbag, a criminal, or who advocates, totalitarianism or authoritarianism? No. But I also am able to sleep at night and have no real anticipation of burning in hell. Good afternoon. How are you today? Emotion drives everything. The image that's out there. I talked to our friend. Across this whole spectrum of earned media, social media, paid media, increasingly has to reflect something that moves people's hearts. Trump, 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 every day. It's like Trump is an emotion, and that emotion is anger. Party platforms are meaningless these days. What counts is emotional connection, affect, relatability. Most politicians aren't really that good at manipulating people. Most politicians are terrible at it. But you can't just manipulate people. You can't just magically make them obey you. That's hypnosis, not politics. It's a lot more deliberate as a process than people believe. If there's a big consequential campaign or advertising effort for a candidate or for a product or for a company, we test our ideas. We poll it, we focus group it, we test it online and off, and then we start to refine language that helps them understand more clearly what our guy or our client is trying to say. Those things happen on both sides. They happen not because we're being manipulative, but because we want to get our message out to people, given that we have two big limited resources in campaigns you'll never have enough of: time and money. If you look back at the last several election cycles, you can make a technical campaign argument, but more fundamentally, you can make an emotional campaign argument. Richard Nixon was driven from office and pardoned by Gerald Ford. The overwhelming pessimism in this country led to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter's incompetence, his retreat from American power, led to a desperate desire for something better and more optimistic and more prospective and forward-looking. That was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, in his re-election campaign, recognized that Americans actually like kicking ass and feeling good. When George H.W. Bush was coming into office, Reagan's economic and broader record was something that appealed to Americans, but they felt like Washington needed a little bit more adult supervision and a little bit more dignified leadership. He was the perfect candidate for that. When Bush didn't get the economic anxiety rising from the recession, the empathic Bill Clinton, who appealed to the emotional heart of people who felt their pain, he was elected because of that. When Bill Clinton became basically a guy who chased interns around the office, people wanted somebody who was not going to be a train wreck. And George Bush, we sat in focus groups and they were like, I don't know that he's not super genius guy, but I really think he's a good person. We need somebody with the correct thinking. In 2004, in his re-election, the overwhelming emotion people wanted was security. They felt like he had the desire and the ability to go out and prosecute our enemies. And then the economy starts to collapse and Wall Street starts to collapse and we do a bank bailout. That frustration, anxiety, they wanted hope. What did Obama sell them? Hope. There was no complex raft of policies Barack Obama offered them. He offered them a fresh face and a new beginning. As Obama's time ended, the fact that the economy, while it did okay, it felt stagnant and it was changing underneath people. And all these folks who felt this grinding, rising economic anxiety and frustration, these Trump voters in Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and a lot of other places that made the difference for him, who don't have a fungible skill set. They worked in a factory making a certain kind of auto part for 25 years, and that factory just got bought out by the Chinese and shipped overseas. They were angry, they felt frustrated, they thought no one was listening to them, and so Trump became this avatar for all that anger and that chaos building underneath people. So it's always about emotion. Politics is a grand, great, fun experience. Yes, there are terrible things about it. Yes, there are soul-crushing things about it, but it is also funny and exciting and interesting and constantly changing. And being able to know that at 53, I'm only halfway done with my political career. As long as you feel it in your gut, you can do this for a long time. I'm not going to just dance on their graves, comma. I have no pretense that I'm like a core influencer in the universe, but if I can push the boat a degree or two here or there in the right direction, I'm happy to keep up that fight.